Harper Audio presents Paradise Lost, written by J.A. Jance and read by Debra Monk. Connie Haskell had just stepped out of the shower when she heard the phone ringing. Hoping desperately to hear Ron's voice on the phone, she grabbed a towel and raced to the kitchen. For 2 weeks she had carried the cordless phone with her wherever she went. But when she had gone to the bathroom to shower that morning, she had forgotten somehow and left the phone sitting beside her empty coffee cup on the kitchen table. By the time she reached the kitchen, the machine had already picked up the call. "Hello, Mrs. Haskell. This is Ken Wilson at First Bank." As soon as she heard the caller's voice and knew it wasn't her husband's, Connie didn't bother to pick up the receiver. "I'm calling about your checking account," Ken Wilson continued. "As of this morning, it's seriously overdrawn. I've paid the 2 outstanding checks that showed up today as well as the one from yesterday, but I need you to come in as soon as possible and make a deposit. If you're out of town, please call me so we can make some other arrangement to cover the overdraft." In all the years she had handled her parents' affairs, paying bills and writing checks after her father had been incapacitated by that first crippling stroke, and then for her mother after Stephen Richardson's death, in all that time Connie had never once bounced a check. After her marriage to Ron, when he had volunteered to take over the bill-paying, she had been only too happy to relinquish that onerous duty. And why not? Ron was an accountant, wasn't he? Dealing with numbers was what CPAs did. Except Ron had been gone for 2 weeks now. AWOL. For 2 long, agonizing weeks there had been no word to Connie, no telephone call, no letters. She hadn't reported him missing because she was ashamed and afraid. Ashamed because other people had been right about him, and she'd been wrong. And afraid she might learn that there was another woman involved. The woman was bound to be far younger and far better looking than Constance Marie Richardson Haskell. She was unable to delude herself into thinking there was a chance of foul play. No, Connie had made a point of checking Ron's carefully organized side of the closet. Her missing husband had simply packed one of his rollaboard suitcases with a selection of slacks and custom-made monogram shirts and left. Connie grabbed the phone. She punched in *69 and let the phone redial Ken Wilson's number. He answered on the second ring. "Ken, it's Connie," she said, keeping her tone brisk and businesslike. "Connie Haskell. I can't imagine what's going on with the checking account. Ron is out of town at the moment. He must have forgotten to make a transfer. I'd really appreciate it if you could just handle that for us. The transfer, I mean. I'm not sure what checks are outstanding, so I don't know exactly how much is needed." "Which account do you want to use to transfer funds?" Ken asked. Connie didn't like the guarded way he said that. It sounded wary and ominous. "You know," she said, "we always transfer out of that one investment account." "But that account was closed 2 months ago," Ken Wilson returned. Suddenly, Connie felt her pulse pounding in her throat. "Closed?" she stammered. "Why, yes, I thought you knew that Mr. Haskell came in and closed all your accounts except for the checking. He said that you had decided to go with another banking institution, but since you had all the automatic withdrawals scheduled from that account, he'd just leave that one as is for the time being. He closed all the investment accounts as well as taking all the CDs. I advised against it, of course, especially the CDs, but—" The kitchen seemed to swirl around her. Connie closed her eyes in an effort to stop the spinning. "How much?" she asked. "Let's see," he said. "That's $1,846.72, including the service charges. Under most circumstances, I'd be happy to waive the service charges, but since we no longer have any of your other business—" He let the rest of the sentence hang in the air. Meanwhile, Connie, grappling with finding a way to fix the problem, wrote down the amount he had mentioned. "What about my credit card?" she asked. "Can we transfer the money from my Visa?" Ken Wilson cleared his throat. There's a problem there, too, Connie," he said apologetically. "Your Visa account is over the limit right now, and the payment was due yesterday. That's another $1,760.43. That would just bring the balance down to where you wouldn't be over your limit." As Ken Wilson spoke, Connie was remembering how Ron had encouraged her to sign.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?